Hello. Today we're going to cut a couple of beef peeled knuckles. These are USDA Choice Black Canyon Angus beef peeled knuckles. And what we do here at this store is we peel all the silver skin off before we start. So you want to get under that silver skin, stay just under it. You don't want to get deep down into the meat. This fat we'll just trim off. Peeled knuckles, also a sirloin tip. That's what it's called. These come where the beef round and the sirloin join together. They're a nice lean piece of meat. Very good. Very versatile. You can do a lot with it. You can make steaks, roasts, thin steaks. They're a very nice piece of meat. Once you get the top trimmed up, then you need to turn it over. Get the silver skin off the bottom. Like I say, we take it off all the way around. There's a piece of bone skin here where this lays along the femur bone. We throw that away, peel it off. Don't get too deep, because that's very tough. Now, on the face end of this, you can see there's a fat kernel there. We usually peel that out. Just take your knife and follow along it. Get underneath it. Now, there are many ways to cut each piece of meat. I'm not trying to say this is the right way to do it. This is just one of the many options. If you look at this, the face here, you can see there's a round piece. There's kind of a triangular shaped piece. A lot of people cut these just straight back, and you can do that. You can cut thin steaks. You can cut regular steaks. You can get roasts out of these. We do it a little different here. We take and trim this along that seam there and peel that muscle out. If you just follow along that, take it all the way to where it ends. And peel the silver skin off again. And what we do with this piece is we make thin steaks out of it. And we make our regular steaks out of the other piece. So we peeled that off of there, and the way it was, one of the reasons we take it off is if we'd left that on there, we would be cutting it this way. Well, actually, the grain is running the other way in this piece of meat. So if you take and cut, we're going to face that off there and use this piece for stew meat or cube steak. Now you're cutting across the grain, so it makes it a little more tender piece of meat by doing that. In our thin steaks, we try to get 1/4 of an inch or less. You need to have a sharp knife to do this. Otherwise, it'll look ragged from lifting the knife up and down. As I've said, this is a very lean piece of meat, but it's very good. This is also good to make jerky out of. It's just the right size. As you can see, we're cutting across that grain. And none of our stores have a problem selling these thin steaks. We'll use what's left over there in stew or cube or stir fry. Now we're going to take this, the round piece of meat here. I'm going to trim that off, use it in stew or cube. Now we're going to cut steaks out of this. We'll cut the regular ones out of it. And we do those, at about a 1/2 inch. And we're only going to take about 4 or 5 off of this so that we can get a roast out of the back end of this. That's as far as we're going with this one. Now, to get a roast out of this, what you want to do is look at the back end of this. See that? None of that can be really eaten where that knuckle is. So you have to peel that out, throw it away. Those pieces of bone that's left on that from the knuckle bone. And we're going to take this piece and square that off where that gristle was that we just took out. And we can get cube and stew out of the pieces in that. And we have a nice roast now. Go ahead and tray this up. I'll trim a little bit of that off. My motto is, if I wouldn't want to eat it, I don't sell it to my customers. So you have to go by whatever rules your company asks of you. But I don't believe in selling people things that I wouldn't eat. Thin ones, we're going to put in 2 S's, and we'll do some families also. And again, there's very many different ways to cut meat. Best education you'll get will be working with other people and learning from them. But this gives you one of the options to how to cut these peeled knuckles. And we'll go ahead and cut the other one now also. So we'll take this, thin down this fat that's on top, and throw the fat away. Peel the silver skin off like we did with our other one. Remember, don't get too deep into it. Got to think about what you get out of the trim as far as the price and what you get out of the steaks and the roast. Usually you get a lot more out of that steaks and roast. And after you get the top cleaned off, turn it over. See, there's that bone skin that came off the femur bone. We trim it off, throw it away. The reason why is you can't pull that apart. It's very tough. Even if it goes through the grinder, the customer's not going to be happy with it. So trim the rest of the silver skin off. Usually the trim off of this peeled knuckle we can use in chopped steaks or minute steaks. We usually make those at least 86% lean. And remember, turn it around, look for the face of that, and at the bottom of it there's that fat kernel. Go in there and remove it so you don't have to worry about it being on any of the steaks. And again, you can cut these down that way, or you can peel this off this muscle here on the side. You can see that grain running that way. So in order to cut across the grain, we take it off. And it makes the tip, steaks, and roast a little bit smaller for a smaller price point when we do that. You can make a whole roast out of those after you trim them up. So we'll face that off, throw that over for Cuban stew, do our thin ones, about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. We're going to do these in the 7S's, which is the family pack here at this store. Do one more small pack. Then we take this piece, we'll cut it down into our regular steaks. And then, remember what I said about this back end here? There's gristle in there. If you can peel that out and just throw it away. And then we face this off at the back end because you wouldn't want that to be in your roast. So don't leave it in somebody else's. Then you have a nice, beautiful roast out of the rest of it. We'll put these steaks in a family pack. Then we'll take and trim this up. Get some more stew meat, cube steak meat, stir fry, whatever you need out of this. Again, you do that because you get more money out of those items than you do grind. So if you just throw it in a lug and grind, you're not making what you could by merchandising all the other items out of it. This makes some really lean stew meat. Again, we'll get one of the bigger packs of stew meat out of this. And that's what we get out of a beef sirloin tip. So this is what we've got out of a beef peeled knuckle or sirloin tip. We've got thin steaks, thin family pack, regular steaks, regular family pack, roasts, stew meat, and our lean shop trim. That's how we cut beef peeled knuckles or sirloin tips.